I said to the wife the other day, I said, there's one word that sums up a shitty business: humans. Because if you get it wrong, it really does hurt bad. If you get it right, however, it's an awesome thing. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. My name's Max Peterson. I'm your host. I am the CEO and president here at Smith & Sons Canada, and I am the ambitious founder of EliteBusinessAdvisory.com, which is customized coaching for contractors. It's quite the mouthful. Great to have you with us. And look, if you're just checking us out, as usual, I really appreciate you just doing that and dropping in. I hope you get some value. And for the long-time listeners, I really appreciate you hanging with me. Look, guys, if you've got any questions that you want to convey to me specifically, Max at EliteBusinessAdvisory.com. That's on the website there. Get across there. If you want to have a chat with me about, what's happening in your business, feel free to book 30 minutes. Now, you might have a bit of a hard time getting a spot. It's quite full. But if you shoot me an email because you can't find a spot because you're in a different part of the world, I will move some things around to accommodate your preference. Don't forget, Business for Builders VIP. Get across there, answer the questions. If you're a good sort, I'll let you in. And like and subscribe. One of these drops every week. Right, let's get started. As usual, steak and potatoes. I want to give you something you can tuck under your arm. Last week, I teed off with, December being an interesting time of the year. I tend to focus a lot on, the first 90 days of next year, which means we're in a strategic planning mode. I start looking at, numbers and statistics and things that have got us to where we are this year. And then we start looking at the things that we did well and the things we didn't do so well, maybe where we need to improve. And so that's, really where I'm at in the month of December is around the strategic planning thing. But also, as I alluded to you last week, leadership is starting to come across my radar a lot more because I just know that it impacts our business. So this is the month of leadership and strategic planning. So true to form, this episode we're going to chat about two different types of leadership. One's called transactional and the other one's called transformational. And they have two. I don't think there's anything good or bad. I think one is more effective as it relates to developing team. And so if you want to develop a highly productive, organized, and optimistic team, then, you'll certainly get a bit of an understanding as to which one that might be. Right. So let's get cracking. Leadership styles that shape business growth. Transactional leadership with basically focus on tasks and rewards. So do this, get that. Do this, keep your job. Do this, get another job with me, So it's very transactional. It's very, very much sort of black and white. It's very short term in its approach. And the other one is what we call transformational leadership, where it inspires change and growth. There's a lot of, now I think that you get a lot of bang for your buck in transactional leadership because you need stuff done. You need it done right now, and I need it done with good quality. But I think when we're talking about long-term business growth, I think that's where transformational leadership kicks in. So, transactional leadership is very active. You've kind of got to be on it, monitoring, auditing, assessing, etc., judging, things like that, cracking the whip, if you like. But transformational leadership, if you've got the right human on the bus, sitting in the right seat, behaving the right way, what you'll get is a high level of autonomy. And what you'll actually do is you'll find yourself being able to control a business from afar rather than having to be up neck deep in it and making sure that everything is under control. Right, so the key differences between the two styles, I've kind of alluded to that already. Transactional leadership focuses on short-term tasks and goals. It focuses on rewarding good work and disciplines poor performance. And basically, you might throw out a bonus for hitting a deadline, or you might have, you might say to your supervisor or your superintendent, hey, I need that progress payment or that stage claim hit by Wednesday next week before we come into our supervisors meeting. And that's very much, well, if I go get that done, I'll get a pat in the back. If I don't get it done, I'm going to get a kick in the ass. And that's pretty much, a pretty obvious example of transactional. Transformational leadership, however, focus on long-term vision and growth. And I think for a business leader that is always been in a transactional leadership role, I think there's to transition from transactional to transformational is probably going to take a little bit, because it is a different approach, right? So transformational leadership, it focuses on long-term vision and growth. It inspires creativity and motivates the team. Now, I know this, that when you've had a really bad run of humans, you start to hate humans. I said to the wife the other day, I said, there's one word that sums up a shitty business: humans. Because if you get it wrong, it really does hurt bad. If you get it right, however, it's an awesome thing, right? And so, when you're talking about, Max is like talking about inspiring creativity and motivating the team. He's like, mate, I at this point, I'm just totally happy with transactional leadership. And you know what? Good for you. If that's where you're up to, I'm totally down with that. But I think where we want to really gain some momentum in the business, the flywheel of the business is our capability as it relates to leadership. And so, if we want to, and I might have said this last week, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you go together, you go as a team. And so, I think that we can't complain as business owners that our business isn't growing when we refuse to adopt the fundamentals of what it takes to be a successful business leader, where the business relies on systems and people, like I talk about all the time. And so we can't push back and go, well, I don't want to go and face up to transformational leadership, when I'm sitting here telling you that the way to develop a business long-term is transformational, and you're stuck in transactional, sitting there with your big stick trying to, make people do something that you need them to do to be successful. But the success in that sphere is limited, I think, because you're always going to be actively running around seeing who's doing the right thing and who's not doing the right thing, rather than, inspiring creativity and motivating the team to go in that regard. So, a good example would be to encourage innovation and collaboration. I think that, for me, whether I'm dealing with a client or a sub-trade or, anybody that's in my life, what I tend to do is ask the questions. Because questions are the answers. And so, really what I'm trying to do is, if I can get a dialogue happening with a client, with a trade partner, with a supplier, with a team member, if I can get a dialogue happening inside of that level of communication, and that's really what we talked about last week, the collaborative communication, therein lies the ability to make somebody feel like they're a big part of the game, that they're not just another number. None of us like feeling like just another number, okay? And so what happens is your ability to communicate paves the way for, the innovation and collaboration phase of transformational leadership, okay? So, this is all I'm doing, folks. I'm not telling you what to do. I just want to bring something, to the table that might be a little bit different to other stuff that you've heard. And so if this is an interesting concept to you, all I do is encourage you just to, just keep doing what you're doing, but just keep it in the back of your mind. Good place to start is just asking questions. I think whenever somebody asks me, Max, what do you think? I don't find it hard to have a chat, that's for sure. But, when someone asks me, what I think or what would I do, I appreciate that, because it seems like they have, they've brought me in and they've included me, and we all like to feel like we're contributors. And I think, if I was out there with a sub-trade, with one of our trade partners, I'd be like, hey, if you were me, what would you do next time? All of a sudden, there is that collaborative communication. And that means, remember that, the highest level of respect that you can give someone is high-level communication. And then we start diving down the rabbit hole of active listening, not just hearing someone talk, but actually engaging with that individual, and eye contact and, body language, the old nod going on, and really being engaged at that highest level. I think it really does, it creates a level of connection that I'm not sure how else you get that, okay? So encouraging innovation and collaboration, that's, super important. So why transformational leadership? If we're talking about this, what is it about transformational leadership that drives success? Well, here's a couple of points. Businesses thrive on collaboration, creativity, and trust. I think when we go forward together, you've got that level of trust built in. I don't care which team it is, whether it's a hockey team or a rugby team or a football team. You know, what's pretty to watch is when that team gels. You know, and a shout out to all of the individual sportsmen out there, but even motorsport, right? You know, the guys jump in the seat and they race that car, but they know there is a whole team of people behind them putting it together. And, you know, I think it's the driver just wants to bring it home for the team because the team work their asses off. And if the ball bounces the right way for the driver at that moment in time, the reward back to the team is excellent. And I think that's where the thrill for me, you know, I think that I could just go and be a business coach and I could sit on this side of the camera and chat about business and get some level of, you know, connection with my clients. But certainly in the franchise world, you know, we're all wearing the same jersey, you know, and if the business, if we all do our part and we've got that forward momentum and we've got the focus on the mission and we've got clarity of vision and we've got the collaborative communication happening, the respect that's paid there because we don't just ghost each other. We don't just stop communicating because it gets hard. And I think that's where for you, if you want to be a leader, you've really got to focus on understanding what it takes to be a wartime general, not just a peacetime general. I've seen more than my fair share of guys, and I get it, I'm a little bit intense, but I've seen my fair share of operators that, you know, sometimes they're sub-trades as well, that just refuse to talk to me because I am very straight up and down. Now, unfortunately, I'm very straight up and down because someone's breathing fire at the back of my neck wanting, almost dropped the F-bomb, wanting answers. And so if shit's rolling downhill from a client and it hits me in the face, I'm coming after somebody who's created that. Now, I am responsible for that situation. But if I've got a trade partner or I've got a franchisee who can't really deal with that pressure, then they are not the right person and I should never have brought them into the fold. Simple as that. And so, you know, guys and gals, I need you to start thinking about, you know, anybody can look good when the sun's shining and the sky's blue, but when the storms get rough, that becomes the tell. It's like, what was that person like under pressure? And so if you call yourself the leader of the business, then you need to damn well do that. Be the leader of the business, okay? And so, you know, if we are going to go together, the foundation is trust. I have to trust my business partner. I mean, I'm in a unique situation. I think I'm blessed. I've got a business partner in our franchise business, the one that I co-own, and he's all about construction. He doesn't want much to do with the office or any of that. But in the same time, he trusts me implicitly to do my part. And so that's all of a sudden, you know, I can see that when you've got a partnership working, you know, at a high pace where you're getting a lot of stuff done, it's pretty to watch. It's when you go back into the dressing room, and if you've ever won a footy AFL grand final, you know, in your local competition there, or you've even won a game, you know, and we'd have, and I'm not going to sing it to you today, but any of the boys from the Roosters, you know, we are the Roosters, and that was probably the most enjoyable 30 seconds of the whole day. Because we went forward together. And no doubt there's stories of trust and I've got your back and I bumped that guy out the way and you kicked the goal and all this kind of stuff. You know, that part of it is what really, you can't buy that joy. I think that's the point I'm making, okay? So if you're a good leader and you recruit well, and we all have challenges with recruitment, but if you recruit well and you've got a good team and your business is operating at the highest level, friend, I really don't think that it gets much better than that. You know, the joy that you can derive from operating a business, it's not just the money, although the P&L, it's a great little scoreboard, the balance sheet, it's an awesome way to look at how the business is going. But I think for you personally, the reward for your effort is going to be, how does the business look? Okay, and maybe you're in a bit of a valley at the moment, and maybe it's not all about you. Maybe you did the wrong thing by recruiting people. I know what that feels like. But you can get better. You can learn from all of that and still move ahead. So it's the old speed of the leader. Okay, so without it, businesses will struggle to adapt and grow. So that's interesting, because if you're at transactional, there's limitations. Why is it that I get guys that come into my life, either in the franchise sector or the elite business advisory coaching world, And they come in and they go, I don't know why I can't bust through the $500,000 mark. Sure, there's systems. You know how I feel about systems. But on the flip side, there is a part of the individual that once I've gotten to know them, it's not just about systems. It's about their leadership qualities. They want to go and blame people. When they're under fire, they don't run to solutions. They run to playing the blame game. They're very much below the line thinker. And I think that's where we've got to sort of really, if we are going to adapt or have the ability to adapt and to grow our business, we need to be transformational leaders. We need to inspire action, and we need to be able to make our place of operations a place where people really enjoy to come along and backslap and get the job done and, really get after it. So essentially the key takeaway, I think, for today is that transformational leadership ensures long-term success. So, nothing is a perfect world, but when you can start thinking about the bigger picture, start to build a vision and really start to select individuals that are very much a cultural fit, then all of a sudden, and I'm telling you, it's very difficult to be a transformational leader when you've got Muppets on your bus. So maybe you've got to clean house and go back to the start and recruit differently, okay? Take it from me. That's probably a word for somebody that go, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to clean house, because I've had guys say to me, the business is too hard. Now the business has got hard because their lead gen is not good. That puts financial back pressure on them. I get it. And then they say, oh, I think I should just go back to being a one-man band. See, the problem is not the opportunity or the business. The problem is the lead gen. If they had more lead gen, then I could identify whether they're good at sales and inquiry management, and then I could talk to them about everything else from that moment forward. But it's going back to one-man band. What that does is it takes the pressure off the pain point, which is your inability to get leads. See, like blaming, just going, this is going to be my direction because it's easier when I was a one-man band. No, it'd be easier if you knew how to tell stories and you knew how to entertain and you knew how to manage your social media and you knew how to set up Google Ads. Right? So it's not one, they're connected. The outcome, there's a deficiency somewhere in the system. And so if we are going, that is a leader that is all about transaction. There's no transformational because it's too hard. And I understand, and I'm not sitting in a seat of judgment again. It's just I'm trying to lay down what it is that I see in my operation that I know is an indictment against certain leaders, not them as a human, but their mindset. How are they thinking about? They look at it and they view it, and then they cast a judgment on, I think I'll just take the business model back down to where I can handle it. But really, if they were just to get better over here, see, so rather than get better, they would concede, and then you can live with yourself after that. That's some questions you can ask yourself in the mirror. Or maybe you're doing that now while you're shaving. I tend to listen to podcasts while I'm shaving. Right. So in conclusion, transactional, it's tasks and rewards. It's very much a transaction. You do good, I reward. You do bad, I hit you with a big stick. Transformational is all about, will help develop growth and change in your business. So you've just got to ask yourself this: how can you grow as a transformational leader? And so really what you want to do is to be able to develop leaders in and around you. So guys and gals, I hope that helps. I really hope that you're getting something out of, being a couple of weeks into the leadership side of things. I'm just trying to rattle your chain. I really want to put you on, onto the importance of being a good leader. And it just doesn't develop. It's like our businesses are not created by default. They are created through design. And I think for us as leaders, we've got to think the same way. Like and subscribe. One of these drops every week. Get across to Business for Builders VIP. Email me, max@elitebusinessadvisory.com. Get across to elitebusinessadvisory.com. Hit the book a consultation button. Come and have a video call with me. I'll drop as much value as I can with you in 30 minutes. Go build a kick-ass business. Be a better leader. See you on the next one. Cheers.